What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this video. Today we're doing red teaming track again from TryHackMe, and today's room happens to be password attacks. So for the sake of learning efficiency, I'm going to divide this room into two parts. The first part will be on creating word lists and performing offline attacks, and the second part will be on performing online password attacks. Alright, so what we're gonna do today, first we're gonna learn how to create password word lists, and we're gonna learn again how to perform offline attacks. Okay, so task 3 and task 4, we're going to go over different techniques into creating word lists. Okay, so let's switch on to my virtual machine and start creating word lists. So to create word lists, we have several tools dedicated for that purpose. The first tool, as you can see, we have let's scroll up. Okay, so we have CUPP. Now CUPP is a tool that is used to create a word list, obviously, but every tool is different from the other one depending on the scenario and depending on the purpose. So for example, CUPP is used to create a word list based on specific information. For example, if we launch CUPP, I don't have it. Okay, so it asks you, or it prompts you for information about the target. For example, if you got the pet name, the birth date, some information about your target, you can proceed and enter these information into CUPP. Now CUPP will take the information and provide a word list based off that. So let's launch CUPP, and as you can see, we have the help menu. So -H for help, -I for interactive, and here file name, use this option to improve existing dictionary. Here, if you have a file name with passwords, we can use this option to let CUPP add passwords to this file name, make it bigger, right? Okay, let's launch CUPP-I, the interactive mode, and here it asks us about information about the target. Let's say the target is, name is John, surname is, say, THM, nickname, suppose we don't know the nickname, so we're gonna leave it as blank. The birth date, maybe you don't know the birth date, so leave it as blank. Partner's name, if you know their significant other's name, like husband or wife's name. Children names, relative names. Say we know a name such as Fifi. We know the nickname, partner's birthday. There is less chance we know the birth date of their partners. So we're gonna skip this. Child's name is very common, so we're gonna say Fufu. Child's nickname, nothing. Okay. Pet's name. So pet's name, people use their pet's name very common to create passwords. So if you know the pet name, that would tremendously help you in guessing the password. So let's say the pet name is say Fee. No, not Fee. Let's give a good cool pet name, Zoe. Company name, that's also very common. Let's say THM. Do you want to add some keywords about the victim? Now this depends on your knowledge about your target. So if you know that your target may use some words, or they have something they talk a lot about all the time, so you can enter that as a keyword. Maybe they use it in the password because people use things that they think about a lot while creating passwords. So if you think about if they like their pets, or if they like their job, or if they like, it depends on the target itself, what they like a lot, when they talk, what's the thing that they talk about the most. These things help you create or help you guess some keywords that they may use in creating their passwords. So let's say THM again. Do you want to add special characters at the end of the words? Now I recommend you guys to leave this option and say no. If the word list that will be generated fails in guessing the password, now you might suppose that, oh, the password might be a bit more complex. So I'm gonna go ahead, recreate the word list, but this time you can say yes to add special characters. You're gonna say no. Do you want to add some random numbers at the end of the words? Now, this is not a bad idea. People use numbers. So we're going to say yes. Lead mode. Lead equal 1337. Lead mode is when someone substitute a letter with number. So instead of, for example, F, they would use 6. Some people do that. So if you think that your target use numbers instead of words while they text or type, you can proceed and say yes. Now, for now, we're going to say no. Okay, so the dictionary has been saved, and as you can see, it gives you how many words have been added. 3,896. Let's go ahead and take a look at this file. File John. Okay, so less John. Now this is the file. As you can see, those are the words. Fifi 14, Fifi 16. So it's a combination. It creates a combination of words, characters, numbers, symbols, and other maybe digits as well, just to satisfy the criteria that you have supplied while creating the word list. It's going to press on quit. So that's how you create a word list using CUPP. So we conclude that CUPP can be used to create a word list if we have knowledge about the target. Usually CUPP is used to create word lists to target single individuals. Okay, let's move on to the next tool. The next tool is sequence. Now sequence is used to create word lists of numbers. So for example, if I want to create a word list or numbers list that contains numbers from 00 to 99, I would use sequence command with -w, and I specify the range. Now same here from 0 to 100. So sequence can be used to create a word list of numbers. Now let's go to the next option, which is crunch. So the difference between crunch and CUPP is that crunch lets you create a word list based off minimum, as you can see, number of characters, maximum number of characters. And you can also use character sets. If you believe that the password contains character set, you can proceed and provide a character set. Let's take an example. This one here, we use minimum number of words, characters, maximum number of characters. So there is, as you can see, the output file here will contain at max 2 characters. Right now, this is the pattern, okay, or the character set here. So the pattern here will tell crunch what are the characters that the passwords will contain. For example, here, as you can see, we'll pick number, a digit, and he will pick a character. So if we try this, let's take this and try it. Let's remove John because I don't want to because word lists occupy a lot of space if they accumulate. So we're gonna do this. And as you can see, we have generated 81 lines, which means we have generated 81 passwords. So if we cat output, look at this. So as you can see, guys, the passwords are composed of numbers with characters, only characters. We can see all the characters down there. Let's see. Yeah. So a combination of characters and numbers, characters alone and numbers alone. Why? Because this is the pattern we provided. So this is for numbers and this is for characters. Now what about complex characters like symbols? So for example, let's take a look at this one. If you want crunch to generate a word list that contains passwords composed of complex characters, we're gonna have to use the -t option to combine words of our choice. Here are some of the other options. So for example, as you can see here, the @ indicates lowercase alpha characters, and here we have this symbol indicates that we want special characters including space. Now this indicates that we want numeric characters, and the comma indicates that we want uppercase alpha characters. Okay, let's take a look at this one. So here we generate a word list with a minimum number of 5 characters, a maximum number of 5 characters, use dash T option because we want to use complex characters to a given password. So when do we use this, the dash T option? In two scenarios. The first scenario, or in two cases. So the first case is we want to use complex characters to a given password. So we know that if we know that the password may start with cat or may contain cat, the word cat, so we want to use the dash T option. We want to tell Crunch, hey, we want you to generate a word list that contain this word, or where the password contains this word. And here we indicate that we want to inject two numeric characters into the password. So if we put 1, it means 1 numeric character. If we put 2, it means 2 numeric characters. If you put like additional 1, it means we want 3 numeric characters. If we take this one and go here, so clear rm output, okay, so let's use this dash o output text. The maximum and minimum length should be the same size as the pattern you specified. So yeah, so here the maximum number is 5 characters. Here we have 6, so we're gonna go ahead and remove 1 character. Go ahead. As you can see, the file contains 100 lines, which means 100 passwords. Let's take a look at the file. So less output. Yeah. See here that all the passwords have one thing in common, the word cat, because this is the pattern we supplied to Crunch. And this is what we know about the password. This is what we know that the password may contain. So we provided cat, and as you can see, everything after cat is digits, right? Now you change this, okay? You may change the order. So you may believe that the password ends with cat. In that case, you're gonna say here, let's say the password may start with, let's go back. The password may start with 1 uppercase or 1 lowercase alpha character and 1 special character. So let's go ahead and use that. The password start with 1 lowercase alpha character and 1 special character. It's gonna look like this. Yeah, so the ampersand for lowercase alpha character, the symbol here indicates that we believe that the password also start with, I forget this a lot, special character. And then comes the pattern. So we believe that the password may end with the word cat. So this is the pattern we generate. And we enter. As you can see, here we have the word list is composed of 858 words. So less output. Take a look here. So all the passwords end with the word cat, but they all start with, as you can see, alphanumeric lowercase character followed by a symbol. So rm output, remove this. Yeah, so that's for the Crunch and CUPP sequence. Let's move on to the other one. We have Cewl. Now Cewl is very useful if you want to generate a word list based off a website, a web page. Very useful if you want to perform online password attacks against FTP, SSH, login forms, password forms, so on and so forth. Because this tool will take whatever written on the page and generate a word list out of that. Let's take an example. So as you can see here, we provide the website or the page. It could be a URL as well. The minimum number of characters is 6, and here the output. Let's take an example using my site. My site, this is my website. Okay, minimum number will be, say, 2 or 3, and then you provide the output -w. Let's see how many passwords I can generate based off my website. Now, other than Cewl, we have also hashcat. Now, hashcat can be used to generate a word list based off specific pattern. We're going to talk about this. All right, let's talk about this because this might take some time. So hashcat, guys, there is something called the character set in hashcat, which means we can tell hashcat to provide or to compose a word list, okay, a word list, or to perform brute force against a specific hash. So this hash here, say you have found this hash from or by dumping a database table, right, or used some SQL injection to dump the hashes of the database users. So you got this hash, and you believe, guys, that the password is composed of 4 digits. Now, D4 digits, and the syntax is question mark with the type of character set. Let's see here. So if I open a new tab and type hashcat -h, you see, if you go up, here are the character set. Means you can use this character set to crack the hash. If you believe that the plain text password of the hash is composed of only digits, or maybe digits with numbers, with characters, lowercase characters with numbers, you can use this. So in my case here, we use the, as you can see, the D. D indicates only numbers, which means here I'm trying to crack a hash that corresponds to a plain text PIN number. So as you can see, D for the digits. So we use the question mark followed by the type of character. So question mark with D, looking for digits. Question mark with U, we're looking for uppercase characters. Question mark with L, looking for lowercase characters. And that's how it goes. Now the number of slots, okay, depends on the, or will control the length of the password. Here I have 4 repetitions of question mark D, indicates that the password length will be 4. Okay, to contain 4 slots. So here the slots will be filled by numbers. So this means that hashcat, what it will do, it will just go here and generate a huge word list of only digits with 4 digits in length, and try to see which one of them match the hash. That's how it works. 3-4 brute force. This is the brute force attack. What happens here? So couldn't hit the site. Yeah, this may take some time, but let's see if we have a word list. So as you can see, I have 1 cat mot. As you can see, I was able to generate some words or some passwords. Okay, clear rm. Now this is about generating a word list. Okay, now you may use these word lists that you have generated for different purposes. You may be doing offline attack or an online attack. Now in offline attacks, which we will talk about, relies on offline attacks relies on cracking a given hash. A given hash, okay. This could be a hash, or it could be an encrypted password. So first, let's go to the task and see what kind of questions we have to answer. So what are the default login credentials in the format of username password for Juniper networks? Now, default credentials can be found through Googling. So if you just take this and go Google that, as you can see, you will have answers all around the internet. Default passwords are very easy to find. The next task is run the following command. How many words did Crunch generate? Now we talked about this. The number of words corresponds to the number of lines. What is the Crunch command to generate a list containing? Let's explain this. So the crunch command to generate a list containing an output to a file named. Now here the maximum number of characters is 5 and the minimum is 5. Now dash T because we have a pattern here. Okay, the pattern is or the pattern contains a word THM. So we put THM here. As you can see, the password should end with ampersand and percentage. If you go back and see what do they correspond to, so here it corresponds to lowercase alpha character, and the percentage corresponds to numeric characters. So this pattern here, the password, the question is kind of tricky because the password, this is the pattern, the complete pattern. These don't mean that you have, don't mean these symbols here. They're actually kind of integrated with the pattern. So this means that the password contains every single that contains the words or the characters in addition to the complex symbols. So that's the complete pattern. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna say the password contains the characters THM here, and instead of the ampersand and the percentage, we know that these are complex characters. We're gonna use this symbol because this symbol indicates that the password has special characters. And then dash O TryHackMe, that indicates that we want to output this to a file. Okay, offline attacks. Now offline attacks, as I said guys, it's to crack an encrypted or given hash. Now to perform offline attacks, there are a couple tools. We have John the Ripper and we have hashcat. Also offline attacks are performed against files. If you got a file, a zip file, PDF file, 7Z file, this is also offline attack. Now all offline password attacks rely on using a word list. So sometimes you've got a already word list like seclist or RockU. Sometimes you generate the word list using the word list generator tools as we explained earlier. So to start using these, let's talk about let's see here, we have questions. Let's take the questions as an example. So considering this hash, what is the hash type? So part of cracking a password offline is identifying the type of hash, because you know all of the hashes that you may encounter are either hashes dumped from a database such as SQL database or from an operating system shadow file or SAM file, depending whether it is Windows or Linux. So we use hash identifier. This is the hash, and we get an, as you can see, a close estimation for the type of hash. It's SHA1. Now knowing the type of hash is very important in constructing the following command, because the following command will be cracking the hash. If you don't know the type of hash, we cannot tell the tool hashcat or John the Ripper what type of hash. John the Ripper or hashcat or whatever the password cracking tool you're using needs to know the type of hash, right? So you have to feed it first the type of hash. The other question will be perform a dictionary attack against the following hash. What's the cracked value? Use RockU as a word list. Okay, so we spoke guys about John the Ripper, and I may also have watched many videos where we use John the Ripper and hashcat to perform password cracking. Now this is called dictionary attack because dictionary attack relies on a word list. Whenever you are using a word list, it means you are performing a dictionary attack. Okay, now some people confuse dictionary attacks with the brute force, right? Now both are actually, they have the same objective, is to crack a given hash. Okay, but with dictionary attack we use a word list. Now with the brute force we give a specific pattern, okay, like with hashcat. If you go up here, as you can see, this is a brute force attack. This is not a dictionary attack. Now this is still a offline password attack, but it falls under the brute force, not with dictionary attack, because we haven't supplied any word list here. As you can see, we're just using a pattern to crack a hash. This is called brute force. Okay, this is dictionary attack. So let's see what is the command that can be used. I'm not going to perform the attack guys because it's going to take some time. I'm going to just show you the command. So Let's first identify the type of hash. So this is, as you can see, SHA1 hashcat -a-m, and then we put in the hash. Oops, no, that's not how it works. Let's do that one more time. Hashcat -a-m, and then we need to supply the hash, and then the word list will be user share word list rock u.text. That's the command, but need first to identify the attack mode. This is dictionary attack. The attack mode for password dictionary attack is 0, and -m is the hash mode. Now this is SHA1, so in order to find the corresponding hashcat mode, we're gonna say hashcat hash modes, and here SHA1 is 100. So going back, and here we put 100, and you enter. It's gonna take some time, so be patient. And the password is sunshine. Okay, now perform a brute force attack against the following MD5 hash. So you're given the type of hash. Okay, all you have to do is to perform the attack. So we're gonna take this and go back to hashcat, modify the command. So here the attack mode will be 3 because it's brute force, and the hash mode will be different because it's MD5. So MD5 hash mode is 0. So we're gonna go here and say it is 0. And also we need to replace this hash with the given 1 in the question. And lastly, we're going to remove this because this is not a dictionary attack, it is a brute force attack. Let's see what kind of pattern. Go back. So this is the pattern. As you can see, the password or the word list will contain passwords composed of 4 slots. All the slots are filled with numbers or digits. So depending or according to the hashcat character set, this will be like this. So question mark and D. D because it's a digit. 4 slots, it means 4 digits. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now the result will be 1337. So guys, these are example of offline attacks. Remember, offline attacks are 3 types. The first one is dictionary attack, the other one is brute force, and the last one is rule-based. Now we're going to talk about rule-based here by taking the example provided. So a very prominent tool to perform rule-based password attacks is, guess what? It is John the Ripper. Now rule-based attacks, let me see where it is. Rule. Okay, so rule-based attacks, guys, we rely on specific rules. The rules dictate the structure of the password. Okay. For example, if we believe that the password may start with numbers, followed by uppercase letters, followed by lowercase letters, and a symbol. How do we know that? The scenario could be you are auditing an organization's password policy strength, and the organization tells you, look, our password policy dictates on all the employees to create a password that consists of numbers, uppercase letters, lowercase letters, followed by a symbol. Now here you got the structure of the password. In order to create a word list that conforms to the password policy, you have to supply the structure. Now you'll create the structure, and you just create a random password that corresponds or conforms to the password policy structure, as I explained earlier. So let's say that the password policy consists of a password that looks like this one. So this is a correct password according to the policy, but it may not correspond to a really working password, right? Now this is a lot of information, I know that, but this is the only scenario where we need to use password rules. Now, to use password rules, we use John the Ripper. So John the Ripper contains an already supplied rules. You can find them under here. It is where the configuration file, yeah, etc. Let's take a look at the rules. So yeah, I know I have this problem, so we're gonna clear this, and we're gonna say cat, take a look at the rules. Oops, cat etc John conf, this command to output the rules. Hopefully this will be more helpful. Okay, so these are the rules, as you can see, that come pre-defined in John the Ripper. As you can see, these are the rules. Now, if you want to use these rules in a single command, all you have to do is to define the rule just like that. Let's take this command, for example, and go over it. So as you can see here, guys, we are creating a word list using the best64 rule. Okay, now this file is a file you already supply. Okay, this is not a word list. So just the steps to do that, let's say we have, let's say we create a file named pass.txt, and here we supply the pattern. Okay, this is the pattern that we believe all passwords follow. So we're gonna save this pattern here, and then the command will be, let's see what kind of password we can generate. Okay, so here we use the rule base64, and we're gonna have to edit this. Okay, so this command assumingly will follow the base64 rule to create a combination of passwords starting from the password I have stored in this file. As you can see, these are the passwords that John the Ripper was able to generate. These passwords, again guys, repeating that they follow this structure, but they are different combinations. Okay, now all these passwords follow the same policy that we talked about earlier and can be used to launch any attack. Okay, now how about creating a rule? Okay, so let's say we want to create a rule. In order to create a rule, guys, we have to follow some structure. The structure is like this. First, we have to add the rule to the end of the configuration file. Okay, and we follow this structure: the symbol, the word, and the characters. The numbers. So this rule works. Here, an example, as you can see here, the rule name. Under the rule name, we put the pattern. Now, AZ here represents the single word from the original word list. Now, when you create this, guys, you can use it in the command here. Say you create a rule named rule name, let's say whatever, HTTP, okay, and then in the command you're gonna go ahead and replace base64 with your custom rule that you have created. Now, what does this pattern mean? Now, AZ corresponds to the word. Which word? The word that you will supply in the word list here. Okay, and then we have numbers. It means that the password will contain numbers, and this means that the password will contain complex characters. What are the complex characters? We define them here. Let's take an example, better than explaining in theory. So scrolling down, what syntax would you use to create a rule to produce the following? So where n is number, we have two n's here, and s is a symbol of, as you can see, the ampersand and exclamation mark. What could be the rule that we create and put inside the configuration file? First off, we start with AZ. AZ means that the word, the example password that we'll be using in the file. Next, as you can see, we have two numbers, which means we're gonna have to put 0909 two times between double quotes. And then we have the symbols. The symbols, as you can see, this symbol indicates that we want complex characters in the password, and between these parentheses, we put the required symbols. So the password policy says that the symbols that are integrated in the password, or the people use to create the password, are ampersand and exclamation marks, so we use them here. So guys, these are the answers to these questions, and now you got the password attacks. In the next video, we're going to talk about the online method attacking protocols: SSH, FTP, HTTP, router login forms. All of these are explained in this note file. If you are subscribed to your channel membership, you already have access to this. If you're not, you can subscribe and get access to these files. So that was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you later.